Well, hello there, Math 126 students. I'm making this video summer 2025. We're into the second week. The first collection of homework has been due. My inbox is full of questions. And so now is a good time for me to have my first heart-to-heart with you about course, approach, how to be successful. I apologize if there's been some strain in the first week. But there's a few things on how you can approach the course to really make it better for you. Before I get into this, I just wanted to say that my goal is for you to learn this material. The University of Washington is a challenging place. So if you were looking for like a easy course that didn't ask you very much, that didn't have much work, you probably should take it somewhere else. But if your goal is to understand the material well and do well in subsequent courses at UW, then I hope to help you that way. So that's all I'm gearing this course up for that, and I feel like people are coming from different places. So if you're a high school student that's never had a course like this, it's going to be a lot of work. The exams are going to be challenging. I'm going to do a bunch of stuff to get you ready. But I think sometimes my personality about joking around and things, I don't want to hide the fact that there will be challenges. The first week of homework was a lot of time, more than most. So I'm going to go through a little bit of data. I'm going to talk about approach to the course, and hopefully some of that is helpful to you. So please listen on for a few pieces. Okay, so let me shrink my big fat head here down. So a few things. Week 1 data. So this is stuff that I wanted students to complete in week 1. Kind of gave advice about it. Was this 12.1, 12.2, and 12.3 homework. So last week. It's a big assignment. Students are getting used to the first assignments. It takes longer. So I looked through the data, and it took on average 100 minutes per assignment. So it was 3 assignments, 100 minutes. It was 4 to 5 hours of homework. That's probably the most you'll ever feel this term. So it makes sense if you felt kind of overwhelmed in the first week. Now what's happening is some students didn't start last week, they just started today. And they're emailing me and asking for extensions and extra things. You can still recover, but I need to get us on the right track here because it's not going to get better. You're still going to have more work to do. 80 students out of the 113 got 100% or better. 10 students never opened 12.3. So we often have this issue, and the students that reach out to me are in this small group, but sizable group, that we have this, like I said, this is pretty common that we have like 75% of the class completes everything early, and then there's this other portion that doesn't. And I just like to make everyone aware of this because it's your choice. You're paying for this credit. I emailed everyone that didn't open the homework this weekend. And some replied to me, but I'm not. This is different. It's not a high school class. I am doing this because I want to help you. I'm one of the lower paid professors on campus, so I don't get extra money for this help. My colleagues don't know why I do this. I'm doing it because I want to help you and I like to deal with these problems. But there is a challenge to these courses. I am your ally. Okay, so week 2, which I would characterize as this 12.4, 12.5 stuff we're doing now. Because it's been a lot of stuff this week, about 60% of the class has opened the homework for 12.4, and about 50% are done with those sections. So I'd just like you to sort of see where you're at relative to this. I get these long emails that say, I haven't started any of it, I'm way behind, I have all this stuff going on. And what's hard is if I give extensions in some sort of special case, then you're just behind, and it's really hard to be successful. Okay, so that's kind of the nature of things. Everyone can still recover. This is just a good time for us to have this conversation. So as one last kind of super bit of helping, I am pushing this to Thursday. So a few people that didn't open it have one last chance to do that. I'm going to push this to the next week, but I am really worried when I do something like this. If you wait till next week to do 12.5 part 1, you're going to be really behind. So if I was a student, please now is the time to start to follow the advice of when to be done with the homework. Okay, so that's that first piece. Extensions, I'll pull that up in a second. You don't have to email me. I have 12 emails in my inbox with people asking for extensions. You can do that automatically through WebAssign, and I'll show you that in a second. Everyone's handled the same way. And it gives you 3 more days, and there's a very small penalty. So instead of replying to those emails, part of it, I want to do this. But really, this is about how you approach the course. The homework is worth something, but the exams are worth even more. They're more impactful on your grade. So your job as you're doing the homework is, could I do this on a test? Could I do that on a test? If I saw this on a test, would I know how to start? That's what you need to be asking. That's how you should treat the homework. So here's what it should look like. And you have a bunch of places to get help. 9:30 to 12:30, Tuesday to Thursday is a great place. You can just go sit, be with your classmates, ask questions any of that time. The Math Study Center is open from 12:30 to 4:30, Monday through Thursday. I have office hours before and after class, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You can go to the discussion board all the time and ask questions. So there's not a lack of places to ask for help, and I have review material. All right, so let's say something here. So here's my expectation for how you're going to approach the course in a given week. So if it helps you, click on the calendar and use that as your guide. But I want to keep us on track. This video is probably already too long. But in a given week, watch the lecture video. You can see those in Panopto, or you can just watch my little clips to help you along the way. So these are things you would have already watched or done. You can open the ebook. This is in WebAssign. You can just click on it. And none of this is meant to be negative. I feel like I'm coming off as negative. That's not the point. The point is what will make us successful. So if you're working on the 12-4 homework, you would have this open, have the lecture open, and then you would dive in to the homework. And when you do the homework, it should be the same day that we've talked about it. Sometimes people say, well, I don't have time for that. Just start it. Meaning the day we talked about 12-4, which we started last Friday and then finished on Monday, you should have opened this. It doesn't take long to open it and do a few problems. So my biggest worry is students that just don't open it. Like, these questions are so fast. We did cross products. We talked about how this needs to be 0. So there's a bunch of things that you can do. Just put in us 10 minutes of time, and you'll have made a little inroad. And then you can scan through the rest and be like, okay, what there scares me? What can I ask about the lab? That's 8 questions. Most people, that's taking them about 40 minutes. The people have already done it. So assignments get a little shorter here in the next piece. But I told you the first week, especially in the summer, was going to be a lot of work. Okay, so to me, none of that stuff would scare me. So what happens if you get to a question I don't know what to do? You'd ask in the lab. You would pull up your lecture notes. You'd pull up the textbook. You should attempt it a few times. Now, I have a few students that are emailing me saying they want more tries. I'm not going to give more than 5 tries. That's already too many. You should try to get it right in one submission, because that's all you get on a test. If you get it wrong in 2 submissions, don't try anymore. So if you're someone that used up 5 submissions just retrying things, don't use the homework to check your work. That's not a good way to prepare for exams. So after 2 submissions, you're stuck, just move on to the next question, make a note of it. Keep an organized notebook. This is just an efficiency of your time. So I think after lecture, you open the assignment, you make some progress, you get stuck, you make a note of it, you go to the lab the next day. So that's how it can be. And you still have an opportunity to get back on track of a regular time you do homework. There should be 2 to 3 times a week where you're regularly sitting down to do homework, and it needs to be spread out. It's the only way to be successful in a course like this. Okay, if you need some review materials, I have them. So if you're stuck on 12-4 and you're worried you missed something, I made a summary sheet. And I have these for essentially everything we do. You get to 12-6, you're having trouble naming shapes, I have a summary sheet. I have a basic fact sheet. So I have a lot of stuff, but you need to be sort of sequentially going through the material and realizing where you're stuck. Okay, you really feel uncomfortable with a section and you want to practice more for an exam, you can click on this or click on these solutions. And then finally, you can go to the discussion board. You can search through the discussion board by homework. You can see the things people already asked about 12-3. You just click on it, Oh, and I don't have it big enough at the moment. Apologies here. And it will pull up all the questions that have to do with 12.3. Anything anyone has asked. Boy, that makes it pretty easy. You can also search. So if you're having trouble with 12.3 number 1, this would be one of the first places you would go, and there's some advice about that. And I'm trying to be pretty active on here. And then you can ask your own question. So there's really nothing standing in your way except starting your homework early enough that you can use these resources. Okay. So that's how things need to flow here. It's a big class. We have 100 and some students. I can manage it, but I can't manage it if you aren't asking me your questions, if you don't open the 12.2, 12.3 homework. All right. So I hope that makes sense. In terms of extensions, I said I would say something about that. So you can go, and I hope no one's ever using extensions. That's why I put the bonus, but you can go to past assignments, and you can click on the assignment and request an extension, and you click automatic. So don't email me through this. Just do automatic, and it'll explain the rules. You get 3 more days, except. You get 3 more days from the original closing date, and that's it. At the end of the term, I also add 5% to your score, and there's a bunch of things to help you, but ultimately, this will all cycle towards an exam. And if you've never been in a college environment, the exams are worth more. That's the one place where you actually have to, show me what you know, and I'll give you lots of advice to prepare. But it's good somewhere along the way to click on an old exam, which I'm trying to help you with, and just say, could I start this? Area of a parallelogram, would I know what to do? The angle at a particular corner, would I know what to do? If you have no idea how to do those, then go back and look at that homework, because we did these exact things in the homework. So the shift is not trying to just get through the homework or get through the course. The shift is I need to learn it to be really successful in the courses that follow this at UW. This is not like a high school course. It's different goals here. You or your parents or someone is paying for you to take this course. If this is not right for you or you don't want to do the homework, then don't take it this term. Go take it somewhere else or talk to an advisor. But if you know you have to take it, I want you to take it with me. I've taught this course a long time, and I have a lot of stuff to help you. And I would love to just find out what interests you and kind of talk about that as well. Because I think that motivation is something I can provide for you to help get you going. Like when you're stuck and saying it's too much, maybe I can find something that would excite you about the course, that would make you want to do the homework. So that's the other thing I'm trying here. I'm trying lots of different stuff. I don't know why I'm doing it. Like I said, I don't get paid. I'm being paid less to teach this course than like anyone on campus. I'm doing it this summer because I really want to try this and see if I throw everything at you that I can do to see if we can make this course more fun and get more people through it and offer it in this format that more people could take it. Because there's nobody in the world that's taught this course as many times as I have or as many students. And so I'd like to somehow harness that in a way that makes me feel better in working with students. Okay. Keep asking me questions. This is going to be a great summer, but you do have to get on the homework. All right.